Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome to the Couch Media Course channel. My name is Andres and today we're going to be talking about some news that's going to affect the future of DC going forward. All right. So we're back with some more DC news. It feels like this month has been DC heavy. We haven't gotten this much DC news in forever, I feel like, but I welcome it and I love it. But yeah, we got two new updates in the DC world. So let's jump right into the first one. The first one is pretty big, man. It's gonna pretty much shape the course of DC TV, film, and animation going forward. And that is Warner Bros. Has found its new DC leader, and it's none other than James Gunn and producer Peter Safran. Pretty crazy, man. Like DC in the last couple months has been searching for a leader to kind of like overlook all the DC projects, but they haven't had any luck. They almost have found somebody recently, Dan Lin, who was gonna take over that leader spot, but negotiations fell through and he ended up backing out of the deal. But the search is over. We got James Gunn and Peter Safran as co-CEOs to lead the new DC projects moving forward. And it's pretty crazy, man. All this information is coming from IGN as well. They wrote an article on it. I'll leave it in the description below so you guys can read the article in its entirety. But yeah, the article continues to say that, you know, Warner Bros. Has tapped director James Gunn to become co-CEO of DC Studios, a new division at Warner Bros. That will replace DC Films and oversee DC Films, TV, and animation projects. According to the report, Gunn will focus on the creative side of the studio, while Safran will handle the business and production elements. Gunn will also continue to direct projects exclusively for DC in his new role, while Safran will keep producing. Both now report to W Discovery CEO David Zaslav directly. This is super interesting. Like, I didn't really see this coming, honestly, and I kind of don't know how I feel about it a little bit, because I don't know, James Gunn is awesome when it comes to superhero movies, but also his vision and his tone can become a little bit exhausting. Like, it's good for a little bit and then eventually it becomes exhausting. Like, he has a lot of goofy shit in his work in the superhero world I'm talking about. I mean, personally, I felt this in like the Guardians of the Galaxy run, where the first one was awesome, and it was like kind of more tamed, and then the second one just gets a little more goofy and it almost becomes too much. Like you know, like, you take this shit a little bit seriously for a couple seconds. Felt that also in Peacemaker, where like it was good at the beginning, and then as the episodes went on, I got like a little goofy fatigue because every episode was just fucking goofy as shit, man. Like, it just kept getting goofier and goofier, and then you just wanted it to kind of like stop a little bit, the goofiness, if that makes any sense. But he's definitely great though when it comes to, you know, getting the most out of some characters. He knows how to make an entertaining film, that's for sure. Like, that's 100% true. But I just hope that his tone is not forced onto different projects and different characters in the DC world. You know, some characters could be funny and things like that, but there's some characters that aren't as funny as other characters in the DC universe. As long as he's not bringing that tone to like characters like Batman, or, you know, more of the darker characters in the DC universe. And also, like, he's not going to be directing every single project, obviously. He's just going to be overseeing it, you know, kind of planning everything else. The same way Kevin Feige does for the MCU, James Gunn is going to be doing that now along with Peter Safran. So right now it's kind of like 50-50 for me. Like, I'm excited that we actually finally have some type of structure when it comes to the future of DC, and like, hopefully this will get the films under a more connected world where we kind of feel, you know, more connected to these characters. But then the other side of it is, I just hope that James Gunn and Peter Safran let, you know, different directors and creators be creative, you know, have their own vision. Like, they don't force a certain tone or a certain vision onto these people's work. Kind of like how what Zack Snyder went through, and when the old leads were in the seat, he faced a lot of pushback with all his ideas and ultimately changing his whole scope of work, you know. Justice League was changed immensely from the original idea. He had a 3-movie arc planned for Justice League, and then they shortened it down to 1. And then to make it worse, when he left, they cut his movie to shreds and completely made a different movie. We all saw how that turned out, but fortunately enough, we got to see his true vision come to life, the Snyder Cut, which was amazing. But yeah, I hope that doesn't happen with James Gunn and Peter Safran, which I doubt it, because those guys are, you know, nerds just like us, comic book nerds and superhero nerds and all that stuff. And James Gunn actually has a very good understanding of some of these DC characters. I've seen a couple interviews of him talking about the DC world and stuff like that, and he's very knowledgeable of these characters. So that's a plus in my eyes, because that's what we need at the top, you know, somebody that actually cares about this IP and that's not so heavy on like the money aspect of these characters, because, you know, these characters generate a lot of money. So some people don't really give a shit how they're portrayed in the movies, as long as they could bring in the big bucks when it comes time, you know, to release the film. But hopefully with James Gunn and Peter Safran, they don't go about it that way. They go about it as, let's make an amazing world for these DC fans. Something that they could enjoy, something that they could build a community off of and talk to each other about the movies, kind of the same way Marvel does it, you know, like everybody talks about Marvel, you know, what's coming next and all that good stuff. Like there's a community behind it, and it's all, you know, kind of thanks to the structure they have over there with the phases and, you know, the storytelling and all that stuff. It makes it easier for them to talk about the movies and talk about, you know, theories and things like that, and they have kind of like a big community over there. So hopefully with them in the seat, they can create that culture in the DC world too, but, you know, go about it in their own way, you know, not following the same footsteps as Marvel in terms of tone and story and things like that. DC is its own property, so hopefully they allow DC to be different and not follow the same formula that Marvel has. You know, create our own lane. So yeah, this is pretty exciting, but also kind of scary too, because, you know, you never know what to expect, but it's more exciting than scary. Because we've seen the success of James Gunn in the DC universe, so we know what to kind of expect a little bit when it comes to his own projects. Hopefully he can get some good directors and writers and, you know, quality creators when it comes to getting these DC projects off the ground. And hopefully he sees the value in the Green Lanterns and pushes them ahead, you know, kind of like priority a little bit, along with Superman. Nonetheless, I'm definitely happy that we have some type of structure when it comes to the DC world now. All right, so on to the next little bit of news, and it's coming from Variety, and it's about the Batman spin-off Arkham Asylum that's going to debut on HBO Max, and they found their showrunner. The Batman spin-off series about Arkham Asylum at HBO Max has brought on Antonio Campos as his new writer. Sources also say that Campos will direct and serve as showrunner/executive producer on the series, should his version of the show ultimately go forward. I don't know much about Antonio Campos' work. I know he did a show called The Staircase, and I think it's a crime fiction like drama miniseries on HBO Max, and it's gotten actually really good reviews. On Rotten Tomatoes it has like 92%, and IMDb has a 7.1, so that's pretty good. Definitely got to check it out, because he actually created the show, so it allows you to have an opportunity to see what kind of vision Antonio has when it comes to creating, and since it's like a crime fiction drama series, that should be interesting, because the Arkham Asylum series is supposed to be, obviously, you know, set in Arkham Asylum, but when Matt Reeves was talking about it, he said it was going to be kind of like a horror show a little bit. So that's super interesting, man. And also we learned a couple weeks back that he wants to introduce characters like Clayface and Professor Pig and Scarecrow into the mix. And who knows, we saw at the end of the Batman, we saw that the Joker was in Arkham. Maybe that's where they're going to introduce some of these characters in this Arkham Asylum series. So it should be interesting, man. It's definitely super excited for everything that's coming out of the Matt Reeves verse. I'm just loving it, man. That whole universe, I just want it to flourish. Like I said in the previous video about DC, when I was talking about it, the Batman is probably one of the best comic book movies ever. It is my favorite. It's my favorite comic book movie ever. And it's definitely my favorite movie of 2022. So yeah, man, I'm definitely excited to see what the hell they cook up with these different with these spin-off shows, man, because Arkham Asylum could be a super intriguing show that can be horrifying, dark, just the way I like it, you know? But yeah, some amazing stuff coming in the world of DC, man. I'll leave all these articles in the description below so you guys can read them in its entirety. But yeah, I'm loving that we actually have some type of structure and that they're actually making an effort to expand this world in the right way where, you know, we get continuity when it comes to some of these movies. So I love it. It's awesome. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about all this news that's coming out for DC. How you feeling about James Gunn and Peter Safran being the co-CEOs of DC? leading the charge. You think it's a good move? You think it's a bad move? Leave all your thoughts in the comment below. And also, let me know what you guys think about that Arkham spinoff. Like, how you feeling about it? Are you excited for that too? Because I know I am. But yeah, thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. And if you like this video, consider giving it a thumbs up. That'll mean a lot to me. And if you aren't subscribed yet, think about subscribing if you like this type of content, because that would mean a lot to me and it also helps the channel grow immensely. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I appreciate it. And like always, until we meet again on the next video, peace.